Before we start, we would like to acknowledge the presence of His Excellency Vice President of the Philippines, Mr. Jejomar C. Binay. Honorable SEC Chairperson Teresita J. Herbosa. Honorable BSP Deputy Governor Diwa C. Gunibundo. Dr. Felix Perto U. Bustos Jr. of NHMFC. And Undersecretary of Secretary General of HUDC, Yusek Celia Alba. So good morning, everyone. Before we start our program, we shall sing the national anthem. Kindly take your seats. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I am Malusan Andres of the PDEx Group, and I am privileged to host today's ceremony marking the listing of the BAHAYBONDS2 $300 million 5-year Residential Mortgage Backed Securities Class A Senior Notes due 2017. To open the program, I would like to call on the Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of PDEx, Mr. Vicente B. Castillo, for his opening remarks.
His Excellency, the Honorable Vice President of the Republic of the Philippines, Jejomar C. Binay, and leader of our issuer contingent today. Directors and executives of National Home Mortgage Finance Corporation, led by President Dr. Felix Berto U. Bustos Jr. The President and CEO of Land Bank of the Philippines, Madam Hilda E. Pico, whose trust banking group is now the Special Purpose Vehicle and the official issuer of the issue. Our special guests, from the HUDC Secretary General, Honorable Celia Alba. Welcome. Our special guest from the regulatory community, the Honorable Chairperson, Teresita J. Herbosa, our regulator in the market. The Honorable Deputy Governor Diwa Giligondo, who is likewise a board member of the National Home Mortgage Finance Corporation. Other officials from government, members of PDEx Market Governance and Board of Directors, friends and partners from the market, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Today, we ring the bell to mark the momentous occasion in our market's history. The entry of a new asset class, the first mortgage-backed security into the organized market, the BAHAYBONDS2 due 2017. We watch in awe as we witness our market's innovative spirit in full display today. The The issue was an admirable endeavor to begin with. I was proudly reporting this to the Capital Markets Development Council yesterday. I congratulate Land Bank and DBP, who prudently and professionally structured this issue, likewise acting as SPT and trustee, for working together with the National Home Mortgage to come up with a pioneering issue with which consumer banks can follow, so they can recycle their cash liquidity for continuous provision of competitive credit to the consumer markets that will not only make dreams come true, but likewise spur the continuous growth of our economy. What resulted is a model issue which we hope will bring more issues of its kind to the marketplace. The issue was geared to cater to the retail markets from the start. Dr. Bustos, I salute you and your vision. As I told you when you come to see me, we at PDEx are committed and remain committed to support issues like this. I still recall your vision of making sure that this issue would be a competitive investment opportunity that could be delivered to the retail markets. And you achieved just that. The issuance and its entry into the market attest to the boldness of your vision and the depth of your concern for your investor community's welfare. And Mr. Vice President, it is indeed an honor. Seldom do we have the privilege of having the Vice President himself to join us in this type of celebrations. A giant in the housing sector advocacy, and chairman of the Housing and Urban Development Coordinating Council and National Home Mortgage Finance Corporation, your presence here today and support for this issue brings special honor to this occasion. You will be pleased to hear the outstanding retail performance of the issue in the primary market. Out of more than 1,100 investors in the primary market, only 15 institutional investors who took only 11 million of the issue. The rest and the lion's share went to the investing public. The PDEx Group welcomed the chance to host such an occasion in this marketplace. With PDEx and PDTC engaged in the issue as trading market and security servicer, respectively. We believe that the development and well-functioning and efficient national housing finance system has far-reaching consequences for social and economic development, fostering growth in other related industries that can anchor the nation's economy. As well as the entry of the first mortgage-backed security provides our investors with another safe haven for their money so they can diversify their investment portfolio. The benefits for investors, homeowners, the population and the economy itself are compelling. In short, Dr. Bustos, this is not only Makatao, this is also Makabayan. We are honored to gather this community here today to herald this marketplace. And let's all be proud to stand here, for we not only are witnessing today history, we take part in a celebration of the fulfillment of our people's dreams and our nation's potential. Thank you very much and good morning.
Thank you, Mr. Castillo. May we now call on the President of the National Home Mortgage Finance Corporation, Dr. Felixberto U. Bustos Jr., to introduce our keynote speaker for this listing ceremony.
Ladies and gentlemen, fellow players in the housing and finance industry, Chairman of the National Mortgage Finance, Chairman of HADSI, Vice President of the Republic of the Philippines, Judge Marcy.
Sabihin sana, buo kayo, wala pa lang. Maganda yung umaga natin, natatawa tayo. Thank you for the introduction, Dr. Felixberto Bustos Jr., President, National Home Mortgage Finance Corporation, or NHMFC. Honorable Visita J. Rosa, Chairperson, Securities and Exchange Commission. Honorable Diwak P. Gunibundo, Deputy Governor, Banco Central ng Pilipinas, and alternate member, Board of Director, National Home Mortgage Finance Corporation. Honorable Roberto Bitan, Treasurer of the Philippines. Mr. Vicente Castillo, Chairman and CEO of the Philippine Dealing and Exchange Celia Alba, Secretary General, Housing and Urban Development Coordinating Council, or HANSI, Ms. Hilda Impico, President and Chief Operating Officer, Land Bank of the Philippines, Ms. Livia Licia Ramos, Executive Vice President, and alternate member, Board of Directors, National Home Mortgage Financing Corporation, organizing team and committee, ladies and gentlemen, magandang umaga po sa inyo. I'm happy to be here today on this special occasion, the listing of the Bahay Bonds. The Bahay Bonds are a landmark transaction as they are the first ever retail residential mortgage backed securities. Today, they will also be the first ever securitization issue to be listed in PDEx. I understand that the demand for the Bahay Bonds has been very strong, with the 300 million peso plus A senior notes being oversubscribed by 34%, or 101 billion peso as of closing day on August 9. Through the Bahay Bonds, NHMFC has raised 420 million pesos for the additional purchase of secondary mortgages. Pero nakatutuwa po dito, narinig ko kay Mr. Castillo, 11 lang institutionalized investors, konti lang investment. So widespread po ito tungkol sa lalo na sa mga empleyado ng pamahalaan. This contributes to the fulfillment of NHMFC's mission to be the government's major secondary mortgage institution, able to attract long-term funds to provide strong and sustainable housing finance. At the same time, the Bahay Bonds provide retail investors with safe, affordable, and high-yielding alternative investment. With the listing of the Bahay Bonds today, market prices will be made available on a daily basis. Let me therefore congratulate the NHMFC, headed by Dr. Felix Busos, for coming up with an innovative and alternative investment vehicle for any of our countrymen. Let me acknowledge as well the other key players in the transaction, of course, Land Bank as the arranger and underwriter, Land Bank Trust as the Special Purpose Trust or SPD Bank, Development Bank of the Philippines Trust as the trustee, the Home Guarantee Corporation as guarantor, and Philippine Commercial Capital Incorporated as one of the market makers, together with Land Bank and the Philippine Dealing and Exchange Corporation. This listing of the Bahay Bonds certainly augurs well for a livelier and stronger interplay of investments in house finance. I hope to see more of these types of transactions in the future. Thank you very much, and good day.
Yes, please take your seats. We have time until the ringing of the bell at 9 o'clock. Thank you, His Excellency, Vice President of the Philippines, Judge Mardinay. In this regard, we would like to acknowledge the presence of our liquidity supporters, who are all committed to assure investors that the entry and exit mechanisms for the issue are in place. As mentioned, the underwriter, selling agent, Land Bank of the Philippines, trustee, the Development Bank of the Philippines Trust Services, registrar and paying agent is the Philippine Depository and Trust Corporation, servicer and seller is the National Home Mortgage Finance Corporation, guarantors the Home Guarantee Corporation, market makers are Land Bank of the Philippines and Philippine Commercial Capital Incorporated, broker specialists are the Land Bank of the Philippines, Metropolitan Bank and Trust Company, Multinational Investment Bank Corporation, Philippine Commercial Capital Incorporated, and Rizal Commercial Banking Corporation. So while waiting for the official ringing of the bell, which marks the official start of the trading of the BAHAYBONDS2, let me give you a brief background on the issuer and the listed security. The National Home Mortgage Finance Corporation, or NHMFC, is the secondary mortgage institution established to develop and provide a secondary market for home financing institutions. NHMFC issued and listed its 300 million 5-year Residential Mortgage Backed Securities due 2017 through the Special Purpose Trust. This 10th listing for the year marks another milestone in the Philippine capital market, specifically the fixed income securities market, as it is the first ever retail housing asset-backed securities to be listed in the organized secondary market. The BAHAYBONDS2 joins the growing issuer community of PDEx and brings the year-to-date new corporate and bank debt listings to 98.15 billion pesos and the total level of tradable corporate and bank debt instruments to 273.53 billion pesos issued by 17 companies with 46 securities. Carrying the sovereign guarantee of the Republic of the Philippines, the BAHAYBONDS2 Class A senior notes due 2017 are guaranteed by the Home Guarantee Corporation and bear a 4.8% interest rate, which makes the bonds higher than most interest rates on bank deposits. They are designed to be safe, high-yielding, and affordable savings instruments fitted for the appetite of retail investors. Philippine Rating Services Corporation assigned a PRS AA rating for Class A senior notes, reflecting a high-quality instrument with instrument credit risk. Proceeds of the BAHAYBONDS2 debt sale will be used by NHMFC to purchase more housing loans, to provide the lending firms with liquidity, and provide more loans to their clients. So that's basically the background of the BAHAYBONDS2 Class A senior notes. It's 3 minutes until the ringing of the bell. BAHAYBONDS2 actually has 3 tranches, the Class A, Class B, and Class C. Class A is being offered to the retail investors, Class B to the qualified investors, and Class C are the subordinated loans. So for the BAHAYBONDS2, it's the Class A senior notes for the retail, which is listed on PDEx, and which will be tradable in the organized fixed income securities market. So the ringing of the bell upon opening of the market symbolically represents the start of trading of the BAHAYBONDS2 5-year bonds due 2017 on the PDEx organized market. In this regard, we have 2 minutes until the ringing, so may we invite His Excellency Vice President Jejo Marbinay, Mr. Vicente B. Castillo, Chairperson Teresita Herbosa, Dr. Felixberto Bustos Jr., Mr. Cesar B. Crisol, and Ms. Hilda Pico. To ring the bell at exactly 9 o'clock. While waiting, this is an opportunity for the photo ops. We'll start the countdown 10 seconds before the ringing of the bell. also witness today the posting of the first order on the Bahay Bonds 2. So, may we call on? May we call on Yusek Celia Alba for the photo with the issuer and the VP. Is Attorney Sanchez. And Yusek Alba. Yusek Alba, yes.
Babitan lang, wala ba yan?
Okay. May we call on the Service Providers Development Bank of the Philippines, Attorney Felipe Velasco. Yes, PDEx, PDEx. May we call on our representatives of Land Bank to please join for the photo ops. Director Diaz. Yes. Mr. Halog. Mr. James Aldana. Ms. Masakupan. Ms. Sarangayan. Yes, and yes, sir. Mr. Bongolan. And Ms. Stacy Dulay, of course. We call on representatives of HGC and HUDC and NHMFC and also Land Bank Trust, all the other members of the team. Please come in. Yes, please. Members, representatives from the Romulo Mabanta law offices, kindly come forward for the photo op. Fill ratings also, please.
Transfer na kayo sa kabila na. Okay, sure.
And finally, members of the PDS group, Mr. Manuel Q. Benson of the Market Governance Board, Mr. Cesar Crisol, Ms. Ann Bautista, all officers of the PDEx group, please come forward for the oath of office. Mr. Bon F. Montes, Governor of the Market Governance Board. We request VP Binay, Vice President Binay, Mr. Castillo, Chairperson Herbosa, Dr. Bustos, Honorable Gunigundo, and Mr. Castillo. Ms. Hilda Pico to kindly come forward for the and Director Christina Aguero, Nanda. Director Aguelo. Thank you very much. This marks the end of the listing ceremony. Congratulations to National Home Mortgage Finance Corporation, Land Bank of the Philippines, Home Guarantee Corporation, and all the other parties for the successful listing of the BAHAYBONDS2. Kindly stay for the refreshment.
Yes.